Hey everyone, Andy here, back again with Pittsburgh Weiss Schwartz, and today bringing you a deck tech for one of my favorite series in the game, and one that's kind of underrated, Cardcaptor Sakura. I really don't know anything about the characters or the show, but I don't know, English exclusive set. I've had a lot of fun with it so far. I've mostly played the record build with the mono green build up to this point, but recently I've thrown together this blue-red version, and I've really liked it and wanted to share it with you guys. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So level 0, I have 16, I think, starting out with 4 copies of Athletic Sakura. She's kind of like the Yoshiko runner from Love Live Sunshine. She's a free runner, and when she attacks, she gives 500 power to something.
Oh, so it's free runner, not mill. Okay.
That was kind of like her. It's a really strong profile. I think free runner combined with the 500 power, this is a pretty good profile. I think she can give it to herself too if you need to. Yeah, she can give herself the 500 if you want to. Keep that in mind.
And that's trial deck, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's 2 of in the trial deck. There's a few trial deck cards in here that we run, so. Moving on, we have 4 copies of Sakura Slip of the Tongue and 1 copy of this Sakura and Akiho. They kind of fill similar roles. The Slip of the Tongue Sakura is, if you have 2 or less stock, she's 4,000 power. And this one over here is, if you have 2 or less stock, she is 3,500 power and plus a level. The reason I chose the split I did is really only for color fixing. This deck kind of has, you're trying to hit like 3 colors pretty quickly in this deck, so the ratios are pretty tight, but I found that this works pretty well. But you could tweak it to your preference. Like if you find you need more blue, you could always just switch that or whatever. They do pretty much the same thing. Next, I got 3 of the Sakura, the Riki. When you play her, you mill 2 cards, and if there's a climax, she gets 3,000 extra power for the turn, which is pretty good. And you can also, when you play her, pay 1 top card of your deck into your clock, and then search your deck for, or search your waiting room for a level 1 or lower character. So this helps you get your level 1 combo off consistently. Or, I don't know, just get whatever you need, I guess. Like, if you need another level 0, you can grab a runner or whatever. But usually I try to grab my level 1 combo with this. And also kind of filling the same roles that is the Sakurai Amphibian Apparel, which is the promo you get from Springfest 2019.
It's a shame they didn't have a Sakura-specific thing like they did for Batman at the recent BCS, because you were playing Sakura at Springfest. Or no, you weren't playing Sakura. You were playing No Game No Life. You were playing. You were between Sakura and No Game No Life for the event.
Yeah. But. So I mean, not too many people play Sakura from what I've seen. So like, you shouldn't have too much trouble tracking one of these cards down on like TCG Player or wherever. But if for whatever reason you couldn't find this card, you really could just make it like another one of the
Riki.
Another Riki, or you could use the Lunch Break Sakura. Is it Lunch Break? The
Whipping Up a Storm.
Whipping Up a Storm, yeah. I don't have it.
Climax Ditch Salvage.
It's like another option. But it's kind of nice because Cardcaptor Sakura is more of a waiting room salvaging deck, so having a search option is a nice way to kind of, you know, get access to both areas. And for some filtering cards at level 0 to round it out, we got 2 of the Sakura Waiting Room Brainstormer and 2 of the Amagi.
And this is just Remy, right?
Yeah, this is like the Remy from Bang Dream. So, beginning of your Climax Phase, you get 500 power, and you tap herself, pay 1, and for each Climax, you salvage a character. And if you don't know what this card does, when you play it, you get a Scry card. So look at the top card, put it on top or bottom, and then when you play a Climax, you can pay 1 to look at the top 4 of your deck for a character. So, I don't know, I kind of like having a mix of these 2. They kind of feel like a similar role, but it's kind of nice. This is, the Amagi's a stronger profile, but you can do the Brainstorm whenever you need to, so there's pros and cons to each.
Amagi's really good with Stock Soul, too.
Yeah, I really like the Amagi specifically in Cardcaptor Sakura, too, because of the Scry effect. That's really important for our change combo. You'll see why in a little bit, but that's it for my level 0s, so there's 16 of them. And now we'll move on to the level 1s. This is where it gets fun. I got some real interesting cards in here. You haven't seen this deck yet, Carmen.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen this one yet.
You're gonna be rolling your eyes a couple
You've been telling me about it.
Yeah. All right. So, Cardcaptor Sakura is our first level 1. She is the level 1 combo in the deck from the trial deck, and she goes off of this red stock soul. Pretty generic on reverse salvage combo.
How big does it get?
It goes to 65.
65, okay.
The other option you could run is the, this is pretty much like interchangeable with the Frog Suit Sakura.
They both hit the same power, too.
They both hit the same power level, but I guess it just depends on the trigger you want. I like generating the extra stock with Cardcaptor Sakura, because their change combo can take a lot of stock sometimes, but...
Yeah, I know you always used to complain about the stock crunch to the point where you were playing bag.
Yeah,
the record build.
The green build is a lot more stock heavy than the blue-red one, though.
Okay.
So it's not as big of a deal, but there are some other red cards I like having in the deck, too, that make this worthwhile. But if you'd rather have the search and the win trigger, then
so this is salvage.
This is salvage off of the stock soul. The frog suit is search on reverse search off of win trigger. So
you're running a lot of mill with the Magi and stuff, so you should have a pretty good toolbox.
Yeah, I mean they're generally pretty equivalent, I would think, but that's the one I'm using in here. Next, I got 3 Topsy-Turvy Sakura. It's kind of weird, like, laying this out, because I'm used to looking at
I was going to say, is that upside down?
She's supposed to be. She's topsy-turvy. When you play her on the stage from your hand, you choose one of your opponent's characters, and they get 3,000 power until...
Okay, so this is kind of like Sugu from Sword Art, Swimsuit Sugu.
Yeah, it's 1/0 6500 with Hand Encore, and the drawback is you choose one of their characters to give 3,000 power to.
Okay. And it has to be center stage, right?
Yeah, so, like, ideally, if they have, like, a level 0 lingering around, you'd, like, probably want to give it to that and run it over. But it's a good blue fix for us for this deck, because we have a blue Climax later on we need to be able to enable. And it's just a real strong body at holding field at level 1. I mean, aside from your combo card, I really couldn't think of anything else better to put in than this, so we have that there. And our final character at level 1 is... Yukiko, just visiting. And he is a 1/0 1500 backup.
Jeez.
Because we don't have a 2000 backup in Sakura.
Because, that would be too strong.
It'd be a little too strong. Gotta keep it fair and balanced. But there's another effect on this card I like too, where if you have to play it from your hand, you can give a character 2000 power for the turn.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, compared to the 1500 backup from the trial deck, this is just strictly better, I think.
Can help you get over in this lane if you need to swing in an open lane.
Yeah, exactly. It helps you get your reverse combo off at level 1, or if your opponent early plays stuff, you can help get over stuff later on. It's just nice utility to either pump something on your turn or your opponent's turn. So that's why I like the card. And then I run a few events at level 1 too, which is kind of cool. So I really like this card in Cardcaptor Sakura if you have red. It's one of the reasons I have the red combo. So it's the Secure event. So you choose one of your Sakura characters and it gets 2,000 power for the turn, and when you reverse your opponent, you memory kick that character and draw a card. So...
You, like, compress them, but you get to plus, I guess. Or you get to go even with the card. And it makes sure...
I suppose, yeah.
It helps you get the reverse.
Yeah, it's like a 2,000 power pump, and you get the beneficial memory kick effect, and it replaces itself.
Yeah, it's good for clearing stuff that has Encore.
And, like, one of the things, too, like, in English specifically, there's a lot of decks where maybe something like Love Live Sunshine or ReZero, where they have these big walls that they early play, where... Like, your anti-change counter in Cardcaptor Sakura is a waiting room one, so you don't want them to be able to, like, encore their go with a con and assist or something. So this just lets you send it to memory. So it's kind of like a tech card if you have a lot of wall decks in your meta, and you don't want them to be able to encore stuff. But it's just a real handy event in general. I'm surprised it doesn't see more play, to be honest. Because, like... There's not really a ton of cards in Cardcaptor Sakura that specifically top check for character. So, like, you have room for a few events. And then the other event I'm running, which is kind of spicy, is Clear Card Siege. So if you don't know what this card does, it's a 1/1. When you play it, I think you can only play it if you have a Sakura, like whatever. I mean, you always are gonna have her. And all of your opponent's characters get the ability that they can't move stage position until the end of your opponent's next turn. So basically, they can't move their characters out of the way of your attacks. They can't. It seems kind of weird, but it's really helpful. They can't run away from your on-reverse combo at level 1 against something like a standby deck. If they stand by something, you play this card, they can't move it forward next turn. So it gives you a little bit of utility there, but the main reason I honestly run it is because of it has another effect. When you play it, it goes to your memory, and as long as it's in your memory, all of your Cardcaptor Siege get plus 1,000 power. And
so it helps them wall up.
Yeah, it kind of helps your walls live cross-turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a soul wall deck, so being able to just like keep your walls alive is really important. And then, you know, having an on-reverse combo, I mean, just being able to stop runners or do some shenanigans with that's pretty... It's actually worked out really well.
I'm rolling my eyes less than you think, Andy.
I remember when they were spoiling this set, and I was like, I saw that card profile, and I'm like, wow, that's really good.
It's good against AOT specifically, too.
If it like drew a card or was like a 1/0, I think it'd see a ton of play.
Yeah. It's unfortunate that it's kind of like costed, but it's still pretty strong if you time it right.
If you're playing the Cardcaptor Siege deck, I think it's a worthy inclusion. So going on to level 2 and level 3, this is our main early play in the deck, Cardcaptor Siege, and she's off of a Blue Gate Climax, and you can use the Sakura change to get into her. So, little confusing how this works, but so when you play going into your Climax step, if you have this card on your field, you can pay 1, discard 2 characters, return this to your hand, and then put one of the 4 Cardcaptor level 3 cards from your waiting room on the field. Generally, the set is built around pulling one of the 4 different early plays out, and the one I'm choosing to use is Siege. It's kind of like, and this is like a soul wall, so after you do the combo, during your opponent's next turn when they attack you, you get to choose 2 of their characters and they get minus a soul. So really similar to Amelia and ReZero, Marissa and Bang Dream, Priestess and Goblin Slayer, whatever. It kind of does like a similar thing.
This can play itself for free, right? You have a chance to high roll.
Oh yeah, that's why the Scry effect's important too. Also, when you play the change card, you top check, and if it's a level 1 or lower card, it goes to your stock.
So it can hit on climaxes too.
Yeah, so climaxes, events, characters, anything. If it's level 1 or lower, it goes there and pays for itself. And you're going to pay it out immediately anyway to do the
climax is no big deal.
So it doesn't matter if it's dirty. And then the Cardcaptor Siege, her other effect is when she's on your field, she gets 2,000 power constantly. A constant 2,000 power if you have 2 or more other characters, which will...
So she's a base 11.
She's base 11. If you have... Plus any of these you have in your memory that give 1,000 more each, or any like backups and assists you have. So they can actually wall up pretty nicely. And it's actually a lot more stock efficient than the other Cardcaptor deck, than Record, because the Climax combo is like free on this. Whereas the Climax combo on Record, you have to like pay 2, discard some cards, you know, it's...
You're already ditching a lot to change. This is just kind of
This is just like free. Like this, like when you play this, it draws 2 cards and discards a card, so it helps you find.
Oh, okay. Even when you change into it, it draw 2 ditch ones.
Yeah, I forgot. Okay. I just keep forgetting effects on this card. It has so many, but yeah, when you change into it or when you just play it, you get to draw 2 cards, discard a card. So that can help you get into more blue gates to keep continuously soul walling your opponent. Can let you draw into more copies of Cardcaptor or Siege and discard it to get another change effect off. I don't know, it's just really efficient. One thing I see a lot of other Cardcaptor decks do is they'll only run like 3 of the change, which I don't agree with unless you're running Record, because Record will gets 2 big early plays off of 1 change. But if you're playing either Reflect or Siege or Gale or one of the other Cardcaptor changes, I think it's important to have 4, because you have to change multiple times. So I think it's important to have as many copies of this as you can.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this is like the only yellow we really have in the deck too, so it's kind of weird that you have to try to hit yellow and blue going into level 2. Blue for the climax, yellow for this. So you got to be careful with your colors.
Red for level 1. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why the ratios are so tight in this deck. And then I have a few other like assist cards at level 2. I got back row Cardcaptor Sakura Lucid. She's a global 1000 power to all your magic characters, and you can rest her to choose one of your Tomoda magic characters and give them 1,000 additional power, and they can't be chosen by your opponent's effects this turn.
Good way to get around anti-change.
Yeah, so you can get around anti-change on your turn when you attack with it. It's a global 1,000 power, so it helps them wall up and live back to your turn. There's other like level assists you can use, but I kind of like this one because it helps you get around the anti-change by shrouding up the character essentially. And then I have two different backups at level 2. I have the 2500 anti-change backup and 3500 backup.
And is that ditch 2 waiting room anti-change or?
No, it's a 2/1, give 2500 power, and then you can pay 2 and sacrifice.
Oh, so it's a sack counter. Okay.
Yeah, it's a sack counter.
And what does it do?
It sends it to waiting room.
Oh,
a little
okay.
unfortunate. I would definitely have more copies of this card if it was like a bottom decker or like a send a clock or something.
Mm-hmm.
But having an option of an anti-change in your deck's important, I think.
And that it's sack. Sack counter alone is really good for denying stuff like Yukina and whatnot. So
yeah, and then the 3500 counter is just to have some utility to be able to, give a bigger pump to the Cardcaptor Seed just to help them live. But honestly, the main reason I have this in there is because of the yellow.
More yellow fix, yeah.
It's just like more yellow fixing. And yeah, not really much else to say there. And then getting into the level 3s, once again we got the 4 Cardcaptor Siege, the main combo in the deck. And then a few other level 3s, I got a Caro, which is on play, discard a card, heal from clock to stock. So it's essentially like plays for 1 and heals
plays
you.
for 1 and heals here, yeah.
And on attack, he gives 500 power to something else for the number of characters you have. I have a UA Moon Guardian, which is...
This is like a super toolbox.
Yeah,
card,
he's like super, super versatile. During your turn, he gets 500 power for each other character, so he's 11-5 on your turn. And he heals you when you play him, and when you reverse with him, you can pay 2 to ping your opponent for 1.
So he has a lot of different effects.
Yeah, so if you're playing blue, I really like this as a one-of-in Cardcaptor, because like, if you're just looking for a good search target, like this kind of fills every single role. He's a healer, he's a pinger.
Yeah.
He gets big. He kind of just does it all. And then I have one Tomogo enamored friend. She is the Musashi in Cardcaptor Sakura. Musashi effect being if they cancel the damage from this card's attack, you get a mill a card and deal damage equal to that character's level +1. So really helpful on your finisher turn to try to help stick damage. Also has the really beneficial effect of pay 1, put a card from your hand in the waiting room when she attacks, and you can give all your characters a soul for the turn.
Helps you like side out for precise damage.
Yeah, this is a really, really good Musashi. I think it's the strongest Musashi profile we have in English.
The second effect is just really strong because like you want to play, if you're really trying to catch up in damage, right? You want to play Musashi in an open lane swing. Then you can give these, which are you're trying to live cross turn to neg soul roll, right? Mm-hmm. With a climax, then they're swinging for base 4, so you can side out against level 3s for 1 plus trigger, which is like pretty good if you're like trying to elongate the game.
Like, I don't know. I think this card's deceptively powerful. I think it's very underexplored. The fact that you can modulate your damage so well with it, it can be like an off finisher because you can just pump your whole field with soul damage. Or you can even pump your level 3s, like you said, and then side attack. So it's a really versatile card in how well you can like modulate your damage to hit for either big numbers or little numbers at the end, depending on what's called for.
It's unfortunate it's yellow for your list, though.
Actually, I like that it's yellow because it helps me fix
it. It helps you fix for level 2, yeah.
Exactly. And that's it for characters. The rest is just the climaxes from earlier. 4 of these and 4 of these.
So the only thing I want to ask for your level 1s, why not Faithless Looting Kaito in that like flex spot? You really like the 1500 backup instead?
Well, because I'm kind of walling up at level 1 with the topsy-turvies and the man, I can't find these cards.
Because I'm just saying, you have a lot of events. You have a lot of events, so the Faithless Looting would help you draw them.
What else does the Kaito do?
I think he does literally nothing else. He just has he's a level 1 that has the alarm effect, draw 2, ditch 2 if you have 4 more characters.
Yeah, I'm just not super into that. Like, I think if it had a better secondary effect, like better extra utility, it'd be fine.
I'm unsure if it doesn't have other effects. I know it exists, though.
But the color requirements in this deck are already kind of tight, and adding in a card that literally I can only put it in the clock to be useful feels a little bit constricting.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
It's kind of my thought on it. But I guess it's an option if you want some more filtering power.
It's just like, I know that what people like talk about with Blue and Cardcaptor Sakura. It's like, oh, you get to play Faithless Looting.
I believe there's some other card that combos with it too. Like there's another piece that, like if you have Kaito in your clock, there's another card that gets better. And I'm not running that card in this deck, so really not incentivized to run him. But that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck. It's definitely a different take on Cardcaptor Sakura than the record decks I see a whole lot of. So it's a lot of fun. Really give those events a try. Like they're a lot better than you would think they'd be.
Yeah, I think it's like our meta is a lot of like big English meta threats like AOT and Konosuba and stuff. So like stuff like locking down your opponent's whole board is like really strong in our meta specifically.
And you still power up your finisher too. So it's definitely like
helps you wall up and live cross turn. But
anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. And going forward, we'll have more deck techs out we're trying to get all the different series in English, get a deck out for them. And hey, if you want to see my record profile for Cardcaptor Sakura or for any of the decks we've already done, if you want to see another alternative deck from that same series, hit us up, let us know.
All right, signing off.
Thanks, guys.